How's it going, folks? Once again, I'm Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. Today I want to talk a little bit about OnlyFans, how much technology has changed our life in such a crazy short amount of time. Seems like, I'm pretty sure it was just in the late 50s that Planned Parenthood brought out this thing called the birth control pill that totally changed society altogether. No longer was it the type of thing that you needed to be absolutely monogamous. No longer was it the type of thing that you needed to get married and stay with only one person under dire consequences. But finally, women could go out and have a good time without worrying about getting pregnant for the most part. And that wasn't even 100 years ago. We've been on this earth for so long and experienced so many horrible things. Child rearing being one when you're not ready. Man, I used to hear so many crazy stories. I used to listen to a lot of ghost stories, and there were a lot of ghost stories that started out that I heard of on farms and whatnot with kids being murdered by their parents who just didn't even want them. Man, I've heard some dark things about that. But having children, all human life is precious, right? But if you're not ready for a kid, man, because a kid can really push you past your limits sometimes. They'll definitely test you out. But anyways, OnlyFans seems to be the next stop in society changing with the advent of new ways of doing things, of new freedom for, well, females particularly. They've had a whole lot more freedom ever since they had the birth control pill, and life has changed so much since we had that pill. Maybe not even including the reasons for that pill, but life has changed so much with technology. In that form, we are absolutely different than what we used to be. But let's not say that technology is bad and we should go back to that time. Things change. We all change. One feeling I always feel like we got from the 90s is nothing was ever going to change. Sustainability, profit was all going to be the same, and technology would change a bit. But society is changing with technology. And I just can't get over how quickly it's happened. Now you can go to friends' Instagram pages and see that they have an OnlyFans thing. So if you think that lady's hot and hey, number one, then hey, on Instagram you can see whatever she decides to put out there for a little bit of money. And man, that just blows my mind. I remember a long time ago, before we both had full-time jobs, I had offered a lover a little bit of money to get me through the night, let's just say. And she thought about it. We both thought about it. We both thought it was a horrible idea. We both thought it was a horrible idea, but sometimes that works out for people. I remember hearing a story about from a guy on Reddit that paid a girl $350 for sex whenever he wanted it. Basically, they were in high school and they ended up getting married because of it. Man, I can't stop thinking about that one. That's an interesting one. But society is definitely changing with technology, and OnlyFans is another picture of that. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm not saying I've never threw down some money on some OnlyFans, but it's just crazy to think that you could meet someone, check out their Instagram, and be able to see pornography involving them that they have authored themselves. It's another thing. We're taking out the middleman. Amazon's taking out the middleman. The big box stores are, well, I guess the big box stores are the middleman. And in the adult entertainment industry, taking out the middleman. It's just crazy how much technology is changing society, especially when it comes to personal sexual freedoms, I suppose. That's just how it goes. But at the same time, we're spending less time with each other. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not like Christian or anything, but at least if you had a Christian congregation, you had a group of people that if they saw you were having a hard time, they could throw money in the pot and get you money for whatever thing. You know, it's like being in being in a group. What do they call those individuals? The type that take horse and buggy around. I can't remember the name. There's two different types of them, all different types of them. But they look after each other. They build a barn together. And they're a group together. Back when everyone was too Christian, maybe I shouldn't say too, but ultra Christian, you had a pastor there to help you out with your mental problems. You had a group there to help you if you were running out of money or if you needed something. And that's not one thing we have so much anymore. We have entertainment. We have technology out the yin yang. But do we still have friends? Once again, I'll bring you back to the story I heard on Reddit about an individual saying, saying that they loved to be in America. They loved to be out of a communist place, but their kids were lonesome. And when he was a kid, when he was 6 years old, he had a flip knife and he'd run out to the forest with his friends, and sometimes not even come home to the edge of the night. And that was when he was 6, and we can't do that anymore. Everything's changing. I think we have to do what we can to make sure that we don't strip away the best social parts of the constructs that we have while we're trying to reform things, and that we continue to look out for each other. Men particularly need men, because we're not there for each other as much as we should be. But society being changed by technology, it's happening. We have to prepare for it. We have to socially change with it, because right now the way that we are openly accepting the change of technology socially is we are okay with the fact that we don't talk to each other as much anymore. We are okay that our kids don't go out on adventures where they could get hurt. We are okay with losing things like having a social structure, having a pastor or an individual that could help you with mental health in your darkest hours, just because you go to them regularly. Or maybe you just have friends. Apparently tests were done 50 years ago and people were asked, how many friends do you have that know a lot about you? Back in the day, like let's say 5 or 6. These days I know so many people who don't have anyone that I have to reach out to, that when I stop hearing from them I have to worry and I have to reach out to them, because life is full of frickin' dragons and life is full of hard stuff. And while we have more entertainment, man, suicide is when we have so many bad things that the good things don't outweigh it. And sometimes all this technology, all this empty technology, it doesn't always do it. It pays the bills, and that's one thing. But does it bring us what we need at the end of the day? And if not, what do we need to do to go out and get that? Anyways, that's it for me, folks. Nev from Nev's Tech Bets. Like and subscribe if you like the stuff. It's always appreciated. And leave a comment if you have a thought about this. I really appreciate it. Have a good one, folks. Take care of each other.